do it.
My brother, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. It's kind of weird me calling it a show because we just talk shit, you know what I mean? Give out hugs and high fives and drink so much caffeine we could probably kill a dead horse. But anyway,
Right here, mate.
yeah, my man. Anyway, we're here, dude. Welcome. Thank you for linking up and you're an OT. Do you wanna jump on board? Say what that is?
I knew you would ask this question, eh?
I mean, to be honest, it seems like a jack of all trades. And every
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I've spoken to an OT, they're like, "Holy shit, you've got so much knowledge in all these different like little niches of life." And I was like, "What
yeah,
the fuck do you do?" Like, kind of everything. I was like,
yeah. No, that's
"All right."
that's the thing. About OT, it's such a broad profession, eh?
Mm,
Like, I used to hate it when people asked me that question because I didn't even know how to explain it. Like, I just used to say, like, if people ask what I do, I just used to say I'm a rehab therapist because I couldn't be bothered
mm,
explaining it, or I'll just say like, oh, it's similar to physio, but it's really not.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so the main purpose of OTs is we help people pretty much just participate in activities, um, and yeah, we just help people, like, for example, regain their independence to participate in those activities.
Mm,
And activities, or occupations, can be broken down into three categories, which are like productivity, self care, and leisure. So productivity is like your work, your school. Self care is like, brushing your teeth, showering, taking a shit, and leisure is just the things that relax you. Like, more of like the fun. I think of it as like more of the fun activities that you want to do.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, we help people just get back into those activities or do those activities, just for a better quality of life.
Mm.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much what we do.
Improving qualities of lives, mate. You know, like it
Oh
seems like
yeah,
the greatest job
definitely.
in the world, and but there's got to be so many obstacles you got to tackle there, right? You've just highlighted three key areas, but there's
Yeah,
so much more that goes into it, and I think that's hats off, man. If I was wearing a hat, I'd be taking it off. That's mega.
yeah, man. Like, I think the best part of my job is, it's really, you have to be creative. I
Mm,
think you have to be creative because, when you are doing rehab with someone, um, it's not just like exercises itself, or like, it's more just getting them. It's more like functional task.
mm,
You know what I mean? So I've got a patient. She's got a spinal cord injury, and like, she's really unmotivated. She's really unmotivated, and she she's got a little bit of she's a little bit of hand function, but doesn't really engage in much activities. And the only thing that we can get that hand function or get her moving is through like baking.
mm-hmm.
So we do heaps of baking. Um, yeah, man, just like get her participating in like pouring the ingredients in, or getting the ingredients, or mixing it up or whatever, just for that hand function.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool, man. Like, you just really got to find ways on how to get the person moving,
Mm-hmm.
not just through like, boring exercises, like, I don't know, doing like heaps of like external rotation or whatever. Because people get bored of that, man. You got to find what's meaningful for people. You got to find what spins their wheels. And when I go into sessions, I never go with a set plan. I think that's, it's good to have an idea, but I think that's one of the worst things I can do, is just having a set plan, because what happens if the plan doesn't go to plan, right?
Yep.
But you got to really, like, I guess, improvise and adapt to their situation. And usually when I go into sessions, it's the first 10, 15 minutes just asking about how they are, anything that they want to do. Um, and I feel like a lot of my role is listening.
Mm.
Yeah, like it's listening, eh?
But that's leadership, though, right? Like
Oh,
listening is
100%.
leadership, and I think that's so beautiful because you're learning who that individual is, as a person, as a human, as a man, a woman, a daughter, a mother, or whatever the hell it is, right? You're
Yeah,
learning
man.
that individual. And I can relate to that so much, man. Like, inside the gym, I have a saying that I kind of throw at people all the time is like, you teach the movement, but you coach the individual, right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
like the movement's not going to change. The outcome that you want is not going to change. You want this person to move, full stop, in whatever capacity that is. You want them to be able to move, right? Because you want to improve their life. But
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
all right, now I got to learn this person, and I'll be like,
Like,
okay, cool. Now I've got to be able to adapt on the fly, right?
yeah, that's exactly it. Like and the thing with OTs as well is, we're known for providing like a real holistic approach.
Yeah.
Um, and there's heaps of models to to go through that holistic approach. But yeah, you're so right. It's just looking at the person themselves, like
Mm.
what they like, what they're into, and yeah, you adapt from that. You
Mm.
adapt from that. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, it's like how many times do we look at somebody for either what they can provide us, what they look like on the external, or what they do,
exactly.
right? Rather than
Yeah,
like, who the fuck is this individual in front of me?
yeah, yeah,
Just you literally have what was it? A very good mate of mine at the start of the year, he dropped a bombshell on me. It was like January 3rd or something. You're still getting over your hangover from New Year's, and he drops an absolute bombshell. He was like, it's like the five whys, and I was like, well, okay, well, please tell me, brother, what is this five whys? And he goes, if you ask somebody why 5 times in a row, you usually get the true answer.
yeah,
So I'm like, oh, okay. And you can kind of apply that to if you just ask questions about this individual and learn who they are, usually it's no more than 5 questions.
yeah.
And you're like,
No,
okay,
so
great. Now let's apply, university or a past experience or qualifications, diplomas or whatever to those answers that that individual gave you. Boom. There's the plan.
yeah, exactly.
It is that
And
simple.
yeah, man. And just touching on like when you are, I guess, trading people or coaching people, it's a lot of it is finding their strengths and limitations.
Yeah.
Like you have to be aware, and you have to consider their strengths and limitations and see what they can do,
Yeah.
and whatever they can do, you push for that.
Mm.
You use that for to get them moving or whatever it is. And yeah, man,
It's chess, not checkers, right?
exactly.
Too many people come in with like super crazy expectations and
Yeah,
I'm going to get to this end of the board and I'm going to get you checkmate in 3 moves. And you're like, life ain't really like that, man. I'm going to
nah,
go to the Olympics next year. You're like, 2 weeks ago, you were eating bonbons on your couch. That's not going to happen, pal. I'm sorry, but like, you got to earn that right.
yeah,
Just come
nah,
in, just do something, give me a high five, and then let's come back in tomorrow.
yeah, nah, for sure, man, for sure.
So, what made you want to do OT, man? Because that's I can empathize with it would be an emotionally draining job.
Man, honestly, I didn't even know what OT was. Like, I don't know, say 4 years ago. But pretty much, bro, like I grew up always. I feel like I always grew up just wanting to help people.
Mm.
Didn't know how. Grew up as a real shy kid as well, and it was it was until I think my final year of high school. I was I had this whole plan of doing physio. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do physio, and so I applied under AUT
Mhm.
over in the North Shore, the physio program, and I got into uni, but I didn't get a spot into physio. So what I mean by that is I got into uni to do like the preset papers, and say like if I do good in that in those papers, then I could potentially get a spot into physio.
Mhm.
So I grinded, man. Like I was, probably averaging I think A plus, and
Fucking hell.
yeah, yeah, man. Like, and I didn't get in. Like for the people that because it's such a competitive degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the people that were in the same position as me that didn't get a spot into physio and had to do the preset papers, I think there were only about like five that got in and got a spot from the preset papers. So that like led me to be like what the fuck do I do, bro?
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Shit, I better watch my language, eh?
No, no, fuck it. This is my thing, man.
Yeah,
Every one of it is explicit language.
yeah,
Be yourself,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you say what the fuck you want to say.
yeah, 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 yeah. My partner's mom's probably gonna be listening to this, so
Hey, mom, how are you? I'm
anyways,
foreign,
bro.
let me off.
Anyways, bro. Um, so yeah, it led me to that question of like what the hell do I want to do? Like, what do I do now? And then I got an email from the occupational therapy program, and they were just like advertising it and stuff. And I was like, what even is occupational therapy? So I did heaps of research. I had like I think a week or two to decide, bro. So it put a lot of pressure on me. Yeah, and I was just
Fuck.
like what the fuck is this, bro? Like and then I just did it anyways. I just took that risk. I was like, I didn't know what it was, so I wanted to find out what it was.
Mhm.
So I just took that risk, applied, got in, and absolutely fell in love with it. Like,
It's meant to be, man.
yeah, man. That's what I was thinking, eh?
Yeah, man.
Because through like my high school, I was so set into doing physio, and then that didn't work out, and then you know found something that I love,
Mhm.
um just by I guess like just being curious, eh? um but then like I fell in love with it because of the holistic approach OTs provide, and I think that's massive, eh?
Mhm.
Like I fell in love with that holistic approach that we provide, and I got placed in. So we did our placements, and I got placed in a mental health setting. So
Wow.
like, yeah, like a forensic mental health setting. And from then I was so set into, doing going into like the mental health pathway, because OTs can be, like I said, OTs can be like working everywhere, man, like from physical to mental. Um, OTs even help with like vocational rehab. OTs help with just people getting back into jobs. So like if you have like a sprained ankle or something, they'll help you get back into your job, seeing if it's a safe environment to be in. But all that, man, OTs can work everywhere. But yeah, I was so set into working in the mental health setting throughout my whole degree. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to work in the mental health setting. And then and then it was my I think third year placement. I got placed with Mike at functional adaptive movement.
Shout
Shame.
out the bald eagle. What
Oh
a
man,
guy.
I know, eh?
What a
To
guy.
this day, to this day, I still think he's one of the most influential people in my life, eh?
Yeah, man.
Like the knowledge and wisdom he provides is just it's insane, man. But I met him, fully changed my whole perspective on OTA. I was like, nah, I want to do something in the physical setting.
Mm.
And then during my time at Mike's placement, he there was an OT. She is now my supervisor, but there was an OT, and Mike was like, "Oh, her name's Nicola." She was like, so Mike was like, "Oh, this is Nicola. Feel free to talk to her to just learn more about OT." And man, like no one went up to her, eh? No one went up to her. So I was just like, fuck this, bro. I'm just gonna go have a chat with her. And so we had a good chat. And then like after that, graduated, and then I saw a role. I saw like a job opportunity at a place called Rope Neuro Rehab. Shout out to them. But I hit them up, and then I got a reply, and it was Nicola, the guy that Mike told us to go have a chat with, and then she remembered me, and yeah, offered me a spot on the team.
Man,
Yeah, man. Like now I'm working in like neurological rehab, um, based in Auckland CBD, but I'm usually out in the community.
mm,
So doing home visits, going to like clients' houses and everything. But it's such a great team, man. Like the team there is just they have so much experience, and I learned so much things from them, man. Like it's so cool. Like, and I just feel like throughout my, I guess, like university journey, I was like nothing really went to plan,
yeah,
and nothing went to plan, man. Like I was so set into doing like mental health, and then that changed. I didn't even know what OT was, and yeah, man, like everything just fall in place, and I love what I do now. I do feel like I have the best job in the world, and yeah, man, I love it.
fuck, man.
Yeah,
That's so cool to hear, man. And
I know.
things do happen for a reason. It's so cliche to say, but
Yeah,
everyone's got 2020 vision and hindsight. And when you're in the trenches and when you kind of can't see what's in front of you, right? There's a fog. You just got to trust. You just got to keep your eyes on your feet and keep shimmying them forwards, right? And
yeah,
eventually it all ends up working out.
exactly, bro. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason as well.
Mm.
Like yeah, I am a firm believer in that shit, man. Like, but yeah, it's just been crazy, like the last couple of years, you know. Yeah, man.
Just soak it up, man. Just keep going, keep
Yeah,
learning, keep asking questions. And that's something that really, really resonated with me. It's just like, I just went over and had a conversation. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
man, sometimes you got to swallow your pride. You got to swallow that anxiety and just be like, listen, man, like you might shit yourself and stutter
yeah.
because you're that anxious, but you got to go over and you got to speak to him. Why? Because like the fear of staying where you're at should creep you out so much that you don't want to stay where you're at. So it's going to push you forward and you go have that conversation, right?
Oh, 100%, man. Like, I think the most valuable lesson that Mike taught me was make connections.
Yeah, networking, man,
Like,
especially
yeah,
New
network.
Zealand, dude.
Yeah, man. That's why you got to come out to Auckland, eh?
You motherfucker. You just want a drinking buddy. I'll show you how the Northern English do it. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it's
Love it, bro. Love it.
honestly, I think, I think back in the times where I've been battling on my own to make progress, and it's literally been a team of one and a lone wolf, just kind of one man army in it. And then the times where it's like there was just one more, right? So there was two of us, or there was a team, it doesn't matter. But if there's at least one more person and you're all just fizzing about what you're doing and just been like, yeah, let's go. Let's try this. That didn't work. Great. Cool. Let's learn about it. Let's go. Like the progress that you make is astonishing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the difference that you can, especially in our industry, right? Our industry is helping people, you know,
yeah, man.
the difference you can make in people's lives, fuck, it's gonna make me well up and cry.
Yeah,
It's just like just get a team around you, just
yeah,
make sure that they're okay, right? And everybody's
yeah.
fired up, and then just get out in the arena, right? And fight some tigers and lions and bears and put on a show.
Yeah, man. Like, I think it is so important as well to, yeah, surround yourself with like-minded people, eh?
Mm.
so important. And I'm fortunate enough to have like a good friend group that's has the same mindset as I do.
Yeah.
You know, just we're all like working in different areas, but they're all hustlers, eh? They're all hustlers. Like they're all doing their own thing, and that motivates me. That
Oh yeah,
motivates
man.
me to see them like doing their own thing, and it's just like far out, bro. Like I got to start doing my own thing, and it's it's so underrated. Like the social aspect of one's life is so underrated, and you really just got to see who's around you, which which can help you so much, and that applies to like occupational therapy as well.
Hmm.
Like we really have to see the social aspect of a client. Like if they don't have the social aspect, or if they don't have the support from like the family because the family's like too busy or whatever, we'll need to find ways on like how they can be supported socially. So
Mm.
whether that's like carers or whatever, um but it's so important, man, like who's around you. Sometimes like sometimes we want to do things like our way,
Hmm.
but it's also really good to lean on others as well.
Yeah, man, you see a different
Yeah,
perspective, and that's why I think conversation is such a beautiful thing because we can look at the same thing, but we're going to see two complete different sides. And
yeah,
without conversation, I'm not going to be able to understand what you see. But through effective communication, right, I can take a dip into your reality. And I think that's such a beautiful thing.
yeah, man. And it's yeah, bro, like perspective, like having perspective on things is so it's such a good like thing to have if
Yeah,
you're
man.
able to have perspective on different things, be open-minded.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when I first started OT, like because the people around me, the team is so experienced, and like I just graduated like in 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, but my first year, bro, all I did was just listen, just just listen, just trying to pick up like things from other people because I knew that these people were so experienced, and from that, bro, like I learned so much, man, so much.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
What
man.
What would you say to someone coming into OT?
What would I say to someone coming into OT? Um, Far up, putting me on the spot, eh? There's gonna be times where you you still don't know what the heck your role is. um, like there's because well for me, I like the people around me and my team, they don't really call me like a real OT. They call me like a physio OT. um, but because it's such a broad profession, you can get lost into what you actually do. So just have in the back of your mind that the main purpose is just to help people engage in activities or help people regain their independence and do whatever you can in your power to do that.
Mhm.
And yeah, like, oh, and also be creative. It's got to be creative and be open minded. That's what I would say, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, open minded is a big one, right? People
Yeah,
coming
man.
into any situation already with a fixed eyes on a prize that they want out of it, or a mindset, or just not. I'm not going down that path.
Yeah.
Usually you got to go down that path. Usually you've got to understand or at least listen to something that might trigger you, so then you can help other people, right? Fixed
Yeah.
mindset is never the way to go.
Yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true, man. And
Have you always
it,
been like that?
yeah, I think I have, eh? I think I have. I think growing up, like, yeah, I grew up real like curious.
Mm,
Um, so I guess in that way, like, yeah, you got to be like open minded if you want to learn more, right?
mm,
Um, but I also can be quite stubborn as well. My
mm,
partner knows this. um, but yeah, like it's the best way to learn is just being open minded and seeing things from different perspectives.
yeah.
Because if you are just so set on one thing, you're kind of like eliminating opportunities to learn.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that as a kid.
I grew up real shy though, man. I grew up real shy. Like, and to this day, I still think I can be. Like, I'm definitely better than I was. But like, especially in group settings,
Mhm.
I can be like real shy and just be like, I'm more of like a listener in group settings. Um, but if it's like one to one, man, like I'll chat with you like all day.
Mhm.
Like, but that's just me, eh?
Yeah, you like self-awareness is a really powerful tool, man. And if you can understand that about yourself, then you can, prepare yourself to be able to be a little bit more outgoing
Yeah,
in a setting that requires it, right?
yeah, man. Yeah, no, for sure.
Brother, I got three questions.
What are they?
Uh Number one, what's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Sorry, mate, you cut off for a second. What was that?
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Um, Greatest piece of life advice I've ever received. I think it would be enjoy the process.
Mm,
Honestly, like enjoy the process and just know there's gonna be times where like there's gonna be times where you feel like you don't want to do the shit that you want to do. Um, there's gonna be obstacles, but at the end of the day, if you have that discipline, then yeah, everything's gonna fall into place,
mm.
and you just gotta enjoy it, eh?
Fuck yeah, mate.
Yeah, yeah, man,
Happiness ain't a destination, it's the journey, right?
exactly. It sounds
Mm.
it sounds cheesy, but it's so true, right?
Ah, mate, it's truth.
Yeah.
Usually the cheesiest ones are the most truthful.
I know, right?
The ones that we kind of shoot down when we're in a group of lads, and then you go home
Yeah,
and think about it. You're like, oh, that's actually really good. I'm gonna write it down in my little princess diary.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Number two, what's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, I don't know if I've um oh, you know what? Man up.
Mm,
Shit advice. Such a shit advice, man. Like, when someone's just like, oh, man up,
yeah.
or yeah, like, well, be a man. Like that's I don't like that advice, eh?
Be
Yeah.
a man. That is a topic and a concept that I could talk about for an entire
Yeah.
day. You know,
Yeah,
um, it's so fascinating. What we class as a man, quote unquote,
exactly.
and how you should act, especially growing up, right?
Yeah.
When it's not a man, it's a child,
Yeah.
and it's still trying to figure out what the fuck it is, never mind what the world is, and then how it's supposed to act in said
Yeah.
world. You
Yeah.
know, it's like here's the weight of the world. I'm just gonna stick it on your growing shoulders and punch you in the
Yeah.
face and tell you not to cry and kick you out
Yeah.
the door and say, hey, now the responsibility of everybody else is on your shoulders. Go out there, you know.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
sure we'll get
exactly.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really shite advice.
Yeah.
The last question.
Yeah.
3 words you would tell your younger self.
You're making me sound like I'm so old, man. I'm 23. um, 3 words. I think I think it would be you're doing well.
Ooh,
You're doing well. If I could, go back, tell my younger self, yeah, just be you're doing well.
that's
Yeah.
good, man.
Haven't got it figured out, but you're doing well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I like it. It's not about figuring out,
yeah, man.
you know, it's about just keeping going.
Yeah, man.
Brother, I appreciate that so much, man. And we'll have to do it again when I'm up in the big smoke. You know,
I'll
we'll
have to.
we'll do it over a coffee or a beer, and just sit down and talk shit.